Chris Neat from Noles 247.
Hey JP, Coach Fuller was talking about Gilbert Edmond and said he believes he had probably his best week of practice he's had over the last week here in his time at FSU. He also talked a little bit about Byron Turner and him turning in a good night. Just wanted to get your thoughts as their position coach on how they both did.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, what Coach Fuller shared. I do think Gilbert had a really good week of practice. I think he's just getting more comfortable in our scheme. What we're asking him to do, I think he's able to play a little bit faster now than maybe he was in the spring. And I think he's a talented guy. I thought he had a really good summer, in terms of his physical development, and that's starting to translate and show up with how he's practiced the last couple of weeks. But I agree that this past week was probably his best week. And with Byron Turner, he definitely flashed tonight. I could see his progress really coming really over the last, 5 or 6 practices. I kind of have seen him really become a little bit more consistent in everything that he's doing, playing a little bit faster, and that showed up tonight. So I was pleased with his progress and where he's heading right now.
Next will be Vernon Simone from Noles 247.
Hey, JP, what are your thoughts on the kicking game and how it's been through 9 practices? When we're there, it seems solid, but obviously you're watching at a much thorough level than we are.
Yeah, I think we got talented specialists. And one of the things that's a major focus for us right now is just being consistent in everything that we do. In the place kicking game, the competition between Ryan and Tyler has been really good. I think both of them have had really good days and good work through a week plus now. I think Alex Mastromanno and Max Schmento are both quality punters, and both flash at times tonight. But overall, we just got to be a consistent unit and go perform when our number is called. But I do think we have some talented guys there, and I do feel like those will be strengths for our football team.
This will be Kurt Weiler from the Osceola.
Hey, JP. Coach Norvell talked about Keon, what he can bring, not just at receiver, but in the punt return game. I know he's been working there, I guess. What have you seen from him through 9 practices, as well as, I guess, the other guys you're working back there?
Well, Keon, there's just such a natural tracking of the ball that's a skill that he possesses. He's confident, and obviously that's important, especially when you're back there as a punt returner. He wants to do it. He wants the ball. So I've been really excited to watch his development over these 9 practices. But we have other guys there that I think are really capable and good players too. I think LT has a chance to be a really, really solid punt returner for us. So we're going to keep working with those guys and keep trying to develop the group as a whole. But Keon and LT have certainly done some really good things, and I'm really excited about that.
The Irish Hotel from Warchant.
I was actually going to ask about Keon too. Usually you don't see, at least historically, you didn't see a lot of guys Keon's size returning punts. Is that something that's changing, or is that specifically him?
I think that's unique to him. We obviously have a need at that spot. We don't have a lot of returning experience in terms of punt returner on this roster, and really it was trying to find the guys that we felt were most confident in tracking the ball, who's going to feel the ball, make good decisions, and then once they get the ball in their hand, obviously we want guys that are weapons. And he just exudes a confidence and a demeanor that is the right mindset for it. And it's kind of like when Trey was back there as a kick returner. He's going to be a handful for people to tackle in the punt return game, and I'm excited about seeing him do it.
This will be SN Kasim from the Tallahassee Democrat.
Hey, Coach JP, you mentioned about the kickers. What do you want to see from them? What have you seen the first 9 practices, and what do you want to see from them moving forward to separate for that competition?
It was really just going to come down to consistency of work. For their competition, we're going to look at the big picture of all of it, and not just, one individual practice or one individual scrimmage, but the body of work that they put in through all of fall camp and even going back to spring practice. And those guys have competed, they've worked hard. I think they're competing well with each other, not necessarily against each other. I do see a support and a camaraderie there. And you know, we're lucky that right now we have two guys that are both kicking the ball well. So you know, their job is to make it a tough decision for us. And you know, we're gonna let this battle kind of play itself out a little bit, and then see what the numbers say, and then obviously trusting your instincts and your gut in terms of you know, ball striking and just the look of everything. So I'm excited about both those guys, the way they've performed so far, and we just got to continue to be consistent as this next week goes by.
Go back to Ira.
You know, like you said with Byron Turner, he has shown flashes in the time he's been here, especially when he's been healthy. What could a night like this do for him where maybe it's a little bit more consistent in the stadium, you know, kind of from a confidence standpoint, just knowing that he's showing you guys that you can trust him more?
I mean, you said it. I think a night like tonight can build some confidence in him. You know, there were several of his teammates came up to me after the scrimmage and made comments about how well they thought he played. And that's always good for a player when you're being recognized by your peers. You know, because I think that, you know, especially at that position group where you have a couple guys that are kind of veteran in that group as well, to have your peers recognize that you played well could be a huge boost to his confidence. And if he can just keep stacking day after day and just, you know, it sounds cliche, but it's just the reality of what it is. Just get a little bit better each day. You know, he's going to be exactly where he needs to be when we need him there come this fall, but really here in 3 weeks.
I'll go back to Ira for the last one.
You guys did this last year where you started doing a little bit more live special teams. If you're doing it again, obviously you guys liked what you got out of it. Did you like it again?
I do. You know, I think with us, you know, in college football, not having preseason games, the hardest thing to simulate on special teams is the speed of the game. And usually it takes that first game to really get that feel of that fastball look that you're getting from your opponents. But we want to do everything in our power to simulate that leading up to it. And, you know, we put our very best guys that we had available on the look squads. And we put really good speed on the field when we were doing our kickoff return or we were doing our punt return game. And, you know, I think it gave our guys an opportunity to get a really good look, a little bit more realistic look of what it could look like. And it's still not going to be as fast as it's going to be on September 3rd, but it's closer. And, you know, I think that full speed work is going to pay dividends in the long run.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.